sticks, and you can interchange them as well. Personally, I just like the normal ones, and you can do it with this one as well, and just slide it back on in. You can also do the same with the D-pad as well. Again, here's what it looks like underneath, but I just like the normal D-pad, so let's slide that back on in. You can even change how stiff the triggers are, but we won't change it because it's very loud. I normally play with the stiffest, so as soon as I press down with my trigger finger, the gun or whatever I'm shooting goes off immediately. And there's some very nice grip material on the handles. You can even set custom profiles. You can have 3 at a time for 3 different games. So you may have one set for Rainbow Six Siege, and then one for Destiny, and then one for Call of Duty. And you can easily change them by the press of the middle button right there. say between this controller and the Xbox controller, I do think I prefer how this one feels in your hand. And it is much better for story games with all like the rumble features and the adapted triggers. Very good for solo campaign games. However, I think the Xbox controller is far superior when it comes to multiplayer gaming. Far superior, far. And another difference I can notice between this controller and the Xbox One is that this one feels a lot more silent and not as harsh sounding as the Xbox does. The buttons are definitely softer. I think that's the best way to put it, softer. And on the PS5 controller we have triangle, circle, X, and square. And then just the default D-pad. I do prefer the D-pad on the Xbox controller. I just love the circle design. It feels a lot more dynamic. But this controller does feel very, very new gen compared to the original Xbox Series controller. And like I said, the components and the features of the controller just make for a better solo campaign story game experience, where the Xbox doesn't have anything to offer in that sense. And the touchpad is a very, very cool feature. animation, you could probably tell what the next set of controllers are going to be. That actually three different sets of controllers for this one company. And the first set are it is the Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons. These are the ever so infamous Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons. Infamous for good and very bad reasons. I think everyone associates these with the classic Joy-Con drift, which these do inevitably have. So I haven't really used them in years, really. But they were fun to play around with. They got motion controls in them, kind of just like the Wii remotes, very much so a more compact Wii remote. So it does have a great design behind it, but yeah, the Joy-Con drift does really just put the Joy-Cons down, and that is a much better alternative for the Nintendo Switch that we will get to later. There's much smaller buttons, much smaller buttons compared to the PS5 and the Xbox controllers, and smaller thumbsticks, smaller joysticks. They kind of have like a squishy sound to them when you move them. A squishy. And if you're using them for like one person, like in Mario Kart, you have two buttons on the inside that you can use for drifting and using items. Although they don't make a lot of noise. Also, I may look very flustered because it is incredibly hot in the UK, and when I record I can't have windows open, so it does get quite wham in here, a little bit of wham. Warm for those who couldn't know what I was saying there. Yes, and then we do have the screenshot and the home button. have some pinging noises, some loud mechanical ping sound, which don't sound the best. And the button layout we have here, similar to Xbox, but just kind of flipped in reverse. So on the top we have X. On the right we have A. On the bottom we have B. There's a lot of loud cars going by for some reason. Loud cars. And then on the left we have Y. And then again, the D-pad, very similar to the button layout on the other side. Again, not really the best D-pad. It doesn't compete with the Xbox D-pad. The PS5 D-pad is better than this one. So there we had the Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons. As you may have remembered earlier, I mentioned there is a better alternative to use for Nintendo Switch games, and that controller is the Nintendo Switch Pro controller. As you can see with the Nintendo Switch Pro controller, very much so taking inspiration from the Xbox controller, as well as I guess you could say the PS controller as well. They have had previous Pro controllers, like for the Wii they had a Pro controller which was very odd controller. I did own it, and it had similarities to typical Xbox console controllers, but yeah, this one is just full on like a basic carbon copy. I mean, don't try and fix what's not broken, basically. This controller is so much better for gaming on the Switch, for games like Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom. This controller is just, it will make the experience so much better. Trust me, it will. Especially if you have Joy-Con drift and trying to use them when playing Zelda. It is so frustrating with any game, basically. And the Pro controller doesn't really experience a lot of drift. I have got drift in other controllers, like with Xbox controllers, but I'm yet to see this, and I've had it for quite a few years now, so I don't know, maybe it's bound to happen to me at some point. What I do really like about this controller is its sort of semi-translucent design. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it too well, but you can actually kind kind of see the inner workings and the little mechanics and the conduction of the controller. Pretty cool, pretty cool. And the grip, it's got nice grip handles as well. And a great thing about this is actually cheaper than buying new Joy-Cons, so really it's kind of a no-brainer to get the Pro Controller. The only downfall is that the motion capabilities aren't the best when it comes to the Pro Controller, but I feel a lot of the time you don't really utilise motion controls all that much in Switch games anyways. So really, yeah, it's a sacrifice that's kind of worth making, I think. And just like with the Joy-Cons, we have X. We have A. B. And finally, Y. And the D-pad is a little bit different, more akin to Xbox controllers, not the Xbox controller that I have, but previous Xbox controllers. And we have plus and minus on the top. And then, oh, there's rumbling, nothing's trying to turn on. And then we have the screenshot button and the home button. God, yeah, it keeps on rumbling. Hopefully my switch isn't on. And then we got ZL for this trigger. And then ZR. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what the Z stands for, but I assume L and R mean left and right. And then simply for the bumpers, it is just L for left and R for right. Something I've noticed with the Pro Controller is that the triggers are a lot smaller. And they don't go down as far as, say, the PS5 controller or the Xbox controller. So pretty responsive. And I do really like the bumpers on this controller as well. And of course the thumbsticks. Thumbsticks are really nice. Why do I say this controller is as good as the PS5 or the Xbox? No, but it gets the job done. But yeah, for this it costs pretty much the same as an Xbox. Well, not an Elite controller, but it costs the same as a normal Xbox controller. Actually, maybe a little bit more. And the same as a PS5 controller, which, so for the value you get for the price, yeah, definitely not up there with the likes of the PS5 controller. So yeah, but knowing Nintendo, they'll never reduce the price. They're very money hungry and very anti-consumer, so not too much you could do about that. It keeps on rumbling. Sorry if you keep on hearing my phone going off. I'm just being spammed with Snapchats. So, this is the Nintendo 2DS. Is a controller. Technically, it has controls on it, so I'm counting it. This was the cheap alternative for the 3DS family, and I got this back in 2017. I actually got it around when the Nintendo Switch was actually releasing, and I got the Switch the same year for Christmas, so I didn't really have too much time with the 2DS. And I got it because I wanted to play Mario Kart and the new Pokemon game, Sun and Moon. And for the longest time, those were the only two games I had for it, until recently I got the Ocarina of Time, Zelda. Because after completing Tears of the Kingdom, I was like, I want to go back and play the originals, and I could have done that on Nintendo Switch online, but I read online it's actually better to actually play the 3DS versions. So that's what I'm doing. And this is obviously the cheapest made controller out of what we've seen today. Like, the D-pad is very loose, it doesn't really click too well, it feels like it's going to fall out any second. The little movement thumbstick here, I actually quite like this, but again, cheaply made, it's kind of like got like a rattliness to it. I do think it kind of needs like a bigger aerial movement because you don't get a lot of movement with it, but it's good to use. And then we've got the classic X, A, B, Y. And then start and select. Again, not a lot of noise, just kind of rattling. And then we got the on button and the sleep button and the home button, which makes a slight noise. And then on the top we have L and R, which again kind of that sort of clanky twang to them when you click them, sort of with the Nintendo Switch joysticks, the Joy-Cons. And there we have the game insert, and as you can see, it is Zelda Ocarina of Time. How could I forget? You have the stylus as well. For the lower touchpad. And of course, all of our childhood, we had the same childhood when we had the Picto chat thing, and we would just colour the whole chat in a black square. It was really fun to do. We all did it. So, obviously, not the best for sound. It definitely is the cheapest, but it's comfortable. It is comfortable to hold when you're playing gaming. And sometimes my thumbs do get a little bit stiff, and I may prefer the actual clamshell 3DS. I don't know, I haven't actually used one in a while. I was actually really tempted to get one of the new 2DS's, which is actually clamshell, but it doesn't have the 3D effect. But those are really expensive for no reason. So I gave up on that idea because I was expecting them to be around 60, maybe 70, even 80 quid. But no, they're like over 200 quid each, which is insane. story. So really, every single controller has its own benefits and uses. So it's always worth trying them all out, I guess. So thank you guys very much